All right, and finally in the realm of globbing, we have glob options. So I showed you shopped and we have extended glob. There are more options for glob, and there's probably more than I'll even be able to go over because there's a lot here, but there are some that I want to talk about that I think are really, really cool. So let's go ahead. Let's look at what we have here. Let's make a new dir called empty. We have an empty directory. I can prove that. I can ls empty and I can ls empty star, and we get an error message. It's very important. We get an error message. So ls got this literal string. It didn't expand anything because there were no files there. So the bash glob, the wildcard, couldn't expand. There's nothing there. So I can prove this. We can do the printf notation. I'm going to do this. I'm putting less than and greater than around it just for a stylistic choice. So if I run like, hello, how are you? You can easily see which one is the actual argument to it just because it has less than and greater than around. It's just for style. So if we were to run empty star here, we can see that printf did get one argument and it was star. It had a literal star there. That's not that great. So what happens if we touch a file in empty? Let's go ahead and make a file called foo, rerun that. Now we have empty/foo. Hey, look, it expanded to something. That's great. If we delete that foo file, we're back where we were before. We get what is almost like an error message. We get a string here, but it just has a literal star in it because it failed to glob. There's an option that is super useful for this called the nullglob. When you turn this on, now when I rerun this, we get nothing in there. It didn't match anything in there. Okay, my terminal just tried to do a little upgrade on me. Sorry about that. So we're back here. We have nullglob turned on. We're going to rewrite this %s like that, and we're going to glob over what is an empty. If you remember, empty is empty. There should be nothing there. We run it, and we get nothing. We still print something. That's just because that's how printf works. If I were to delete this completely and just have nothing there, it prints this. So this is our way of saying there's nothing there. There's no arguments. There was nothing given to printf. It is effectively empty. That's the beautiful thing about nullglob. It won't turn into a literal string. It will just become actually nothing. We could store this in an array. We could make a new array, and the array could be a glob. Now, if we echo how many items are in the array, we get 0. There's no matches. If we were to turn off nullglob, remember, unset it, and then rerun this command, remake the array, and then reprint out how many items are in it, there's 1 item in it. And if we print the array, the first item, we can just do it like this. You can see it's a literal star. So yeah, nullglob is super great when you set it because it will actually resolve to nothing, which is great and ideal for a lot of situations. Now there is something to be cognizant about this, is that because it will turn into nothing, if I do this, notice how empty was empty. If I run this, it lists my current directory. Be mindful of this because this turned into nothing. That means ls ran with no arguments. So ls listed the current directory and not the empty directory. So nullglob is great, but only turn it on when you need it because it can kind of give you some weird situations. I would have much rather ls give me an error message here. So if I had turned off nullglob, if I had unset it, then if I rerun this, I get an error message, and that's way easier for me to understand. Like, oh yeah, I'm trying to list something that's not there. So that's nullglob, but there is more to the story. So let's go ahead and talk about another option, and to showcase that one, we're going to make a new file. Let's touch something in empty, but this time we're going to touch a hidden file. Okay, so we have a hidden file in empty. We can ls-a empty, and we can see that there's a hidden file there. Cool, yeah, that makes sense. If we echo empty star, there's nothing there. As you can see, we just get that star. It failed to expand. But we can turn on dotglob. Dotglob does exactly what you think it does. It allows you to glob also dot file. So anything that starts with a dot, a hidden file, it will get glob. So this is super useful because you can do all the same stuff. I could say array equals empty, and then I could echo, let's see if I get this right. There we go. I can echo that, and we can see that there is 1 item in that array. If we were to just print the entire array, we can see that there is a hidden file in there. That's what we would expect. That's what we'd want to see happen, which is nice. I could ls empty star, and it will just ls the hidden file because the glob expanded. The wildcard expanded even before ls ran. So super useful. If you don't turn this on, because it can be surprising to have it on or not, if you have it off, you can still get this behavior by doing this, empty dot star. Because remember, to put things next to each other in an array, you just put a space between them. So if we glob star and dot star, then we go to print what's in that array, you can see that we have the star one failed, but the hidden file one worked. So you want to pair these together. we want to set nullglob, but we want to unset dotglob. A little confusing, I know. Apologize, it is confusing. But yeah, so you want to have nullglob enabled and dotglob off if you want to use this notation. Be careful with this notation, because if you have dotglob enabled and you do this, think about it. This is going to glob all the dot files as well, and this is also going to glob the dot files. So what does that mean? We're going to get duplicates. So be careful. You have to make sure you're using these options in a way that makes sense. I like to just turn them on for whatever work I'm doing and then kind of just basically set them as I need them in a script. Or the best thing, of course, do them in a subshell. Wrap parentheses around it, modify it, and then I don't have to worry because they're done by the time my function or whatever is done running. And there is one more thing I want to show. This is a really cool thing. So let me do that printf real quick, and let's just list files that we have. New line, and we can do star here. So there we go. There's our files. We have dotglob enabled, so we're seeing that hidden .dsstore file. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. All right, so let's go ahead and show something really cool. Remember the find command? If you run find dot, it lists every file that it sees. We can do this in bash. Now, if you notice bash, when I just give it star, it only lists the directory. It doesn't recurse into the directories. I can make it recurse. You can turn on an option called globstar, and this will make it recurse. This syntax won't recurse. You need to use a special syntax, which is star star. When you use star star, this will start recursing now. So when I do this, I will get the same output as find. It might be slightly out of order, maybe like slightly different, but it will have all the same files. So bash can recursively find files in glob based on that, which is pretty cool. And you can do some really cool things with it, because I could do something like this. I could do text equals, make a new array, and I could do something like, hey, find anything that is a text file. So now, if I print the items in that array, let me remember the syntax, there we go. There are 6 text files that were found. If I print them out, here were all the text files that were found from that glob. So you can recursively find files just using bash built-in, so you don't even need find. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We could verify this. We could do find typef -name star.text. And there we go. If we pipe that to word count -l, we can see there are 6. So we found 6 there, the exact same way we found 6 here. So globstar built into your shell, super awesome, super useful. Love it. I think it's great.